Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to macroeconomics class. In previous class, we have discussed about various definitions of money and what is money. Just I'll quickly review that what we have discussed in previous class. We have seen that money is one of the greatest invention of man. Like there are other inventions which human being has done. Similarly, money is also one of the greatest invention of the man to facilitate the difficulty faced by them for doing economic transactions. Then we have discussed about the various definitions of money, like Robertson, anything which is widely accepted in payment for goods or in discharge of other kinds of business obligation is called money. That is definition of Robertson. Same way, Walker's definition we have seen that money is what money does. And if you remember, we have discussed that money is what money does is not only a sentence, but it is a very elaborative statement, which is considered as the very broadest definition of money, which include everything which is performing the function of money. So this definition is functional definition. So another definition which is given by Crowther, we have discussed that money can be defined as anything which is generally acceptable as a means of exchange and at the same time act as a measure of and store of value. Then W.T. Newlin, anything is money which functions generally as a medium of exchange. So from all the definitions, you will come to know that money is a medium of exchange. So the basic function of money is to facilitate the transaction of goods and services. That is, money is a mediator between the buyer and seller. Then money has many functions to perform, but we can classify them into three categories: primary function, secondary function, contingent function. Primary functions are those functions for which money came into existence. If you remember, we discussed that primary functions are also known as basic functions or traditional functions. So there are two main functions or primary functions of money, that is medium of exchange and measure of value. Secondary functions are based on the primary function or they are dependent on the primary function. So that is why it is known as a secondary function. Like we are having primary education, secondary education. So secondary is based on primary. Same way secondary functions are based on primary function. Store of value, transfer of value and standard of deferred payment. That three functions are considered as secondary function. Third category is contingent functions. Contingent functions are those functions which are performed in the modern times or with the passage of time. Whenever the economic condition changes or economy grows, these functions keep on adding into the that money's function, like liquidity, basis of credit, equalization of marginal utility and productivity, distributor of collective production, gives generic value to capital, guarantor of solvency, liquidity. These are some of the contingent function. Now we are going to start with the detailed discussion on all these functions. Primary function. By primary function of money, economists mean the two basic functions for which money was found or invented. Money as a medium of exchange. Money has removed the inconvenience of barter system. People can exchange goods and services through medium of money. Money has no utility of its own. Money is useless if it is not helping in buying and selling of commodities. Money acts as a medium of exchange as it is generally acceptable. Money bifurcates buying and selling activities separately, so it facilitates the exchange transaction. That means buying and selling activities are separated. I can buy or I can sell. I need not to do both the things at the same time. In barter system, what happened? I am a buyer as well as I am a seller. Now, money as a measure of value. So every commodity's value can be measured in terms of money. As I told you that in terms of barter system, each commodity's value has to be measured in another commodity. If there are 5 commodities, then one commodity's value has to be measured in another 4 commodities. So that means the remembering the value of one commodity in terms of every other commodity was a very tedious and difficult task. So that difficulty was removed by the money, because every commodity's value is converted into money, and just we have to compare the money value of various commodities. So the values of different commodities can be expressed through money. It is a measuring rod or yardstick. Money is a common measure of value, so it is possible to determine the rate of exchange between various goods and services produced by people. Now, secondary functions, these are the functions that are important today, are simply the derivative, derived. They are based on primary function. These functions are known as secondary functions. It includes money is the standard of deferred payment. Deferred payment means delay payment. I am buying commodity today, I will make payment in future. That is, future transactions became possible due to invention of money. That means credit transaction. The loans which are taken at present can be repaid in money terms in future. But that was not possible in terms of barter system, because the quality of the commodity will deteriorate or decrease with the passage of time. That is why money facilitated the deferred payment or future transaction. Whereas in case of barter system, there has to be a spot transaction. There is no future transaction in barter system. Second function which money performs is store of value. Money being generally acceptable and its value being more or less stable, it is ideal for use as a store of value. Property can be sold and its value can be held in terms of money and converted into any other asset as and when it is necessary. That means we can convert money into anything or any asset into money. So we can store the value of any commodity in terms of money, because the value of money remains more or less stable. It is not deteriorating or decreasing at the same rate at which the value of other commodities are decreasing. Third secondary function of money is money can transfer value. That means by transferring money from one person to another person, we are transferring the value. That means it is the transfer of a purchasing power. Let us take example, if I am paying 100 rupees to a vegetable seller, then the vegetable seller will get the purchasing power equal to 100 rupees. So to whomsoever this 100 rupees will be transferred, his purchasing power is going to increase by 100 rupees. Or we can say that the purchasing power will be transferred from one person to another person. That is possible because of money. Because even if money is transferred number of times, its value is not going to decrease. Now, there are certain contingent functions. These functions are performed in a modern economy. In this category, we consider those functions of money which it performs in developed and modern countries. The four major contingent functions of money are as follows. First, basis of credit. We all know today's modern economy is considered as a credit-based economy. Every business is done on a credit basis. We all are using credit card, we all are using check. All these are the credit instruments. So modern economy is a credit economy, therefore it uses checks, bills of exchange, promissory notes. All of these are credit instruments and are claims over money. But the main base for credit in economy is the monetary system. The strongest the monetary system, the more will be the credit instruments available in the economy. That is why financial soundness of any economy is considered as the backbone of any country. Second function is distributor of collective production. Now that means that production is a combined effort of all the factors of production. We know there are four factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Now all these factors of production are doing production collectively. So we need to give their share to them. Therefore, money helps in giving their due share to each factor of production. So today, the process of production has become very complex. There are too many factors of production. As a result, the distribution has become complicated. Now the production has not simple, it has become a complex. So distribution has also become the complicated. Money helped in overcoming the difficulty of distribution, as the payment of every factor of production is determined in terms of money. In barter system, there was no money, therefore the share of each factor of production is given on the basis of the commodity which they are producing. If they are producing wheat, then those who are helping in the production of wheat will get their remuneration in the form of share in the wheat output. So it is impossible to that give or make payment to every factor of production satisfactorily. That is why money came into existence. Next function is money equalizes marginal utilities or productivities. If you remember, we have discussed about the marginal productivity theory of distribution in first year. In that, we know that marginal productivity means the additional output produced by one extra worker. So we can come to know that how much production is done by the extra worker only through money, because money is used as a yardstick or measuring rod. The consumers can equalize the marginal utility of different commodities purchased with the help of money. For consumer, there is a law which is known as a law of equi-marginal utility, where consumer can know that how much utility he is getting by spending last rupee on each commodity. So consumer can also equalize his marginal utility. Same way, the producer can also equalize its benefit which he gets by hiring the worker. This is done by attaining the maximum satisfaction. Similarly, a producer can equalize the marginal productivity of different factors of production in order to maximize his profit. That means there are number of factors of production. So a producer can decide that which factor of production has to be used more and the quantity of which factor of production has to be reduced. So he can form the various combination so that his total profit will be maximized. So money helps in equalizing the marginal utility as well as marginal productivity. Next function, that is it gives generic value to capital. Generic means common. So generic value to capital. Due to uncertainty in social life, investors do not know that when they will get an opportunity for profitable investment. Therefore, those who keeps his capital in the form of money will be able to take advantage of the investment opportunity as and when they come. That means money is considered as the most liquid asset. Money can be easily converted into any other form. People are keeping money as a cash, and whenever they get an opportunity within a small period of time, they can grab the opportunities. So that money gives the generic value to capital. That means money can be converted into any other form of capital. Further, guarantor of solvency. That means generally people start suspecting the solvency of the firm if it fails to honor its obligation of its liabilities. That means if any business unit fails to that meet their business obligation, like that payment of uh, the interest payment on the interest payment to the debenture holders, or the that investors share, or that investors are not getting their return, then people start suspecting about the particular firm. This is true especially with the financial institution like bank. If they fail to keep adequate cash reserve, then bank may face the difficulties, sometimes leading to the insolvency. Therefore, having adequate liquidity will act as a guarantor of solvency. That means if a financial institution is having a sufficient amount of liquidity with them, it will be considered as their that strong point, or they will enjoy the good status in the competitive world. Then liquidity. Money is the most important liquid asset. It is superior to all assets in terms of liquidity. Money is 100% liquid. That is why money is wealth, but all wealth is not money. So these are the topics that we have discussed today, that is regarding the functions of money. Now in next class we are going to discuss about the difficulties faced during the barter system, because it, until and unless we not come to know that what are the difficulties of the barter system, we will not able to understand the importance of money. That is why in next class we are going to start with the difficulties faced during barter system. Thank you.